Yes. So we are here today. We have Terri Grigsby. And you guys, I love every time that I get the amazing opportunity to hang out with Terri. And I know that you guys are going to love the time that you're going to get to spend here with us as well, because she always gives us little golden nuggets that we can all take away and be able to put inside of our own businesses. So you're definitely going to want to join us and ask any questions as we go along with Terri sharing her story. I would love if you guys could ask some questions, and feel free to put it into the chat here, and we will be able to answer the questions and bring in your questions as we go along. So again, I'm super excited that you guys are here and joining us, and thank you, Terri, for being here with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's fun.
Yay! And you had an appointment this morning, and so that's why we have a different time. And so you guys, for our Thursday calls that are live, just know it's usually at 11:30 a.m. Central, unless whoever I'm speaking with, they can't make that time, and we can push it into a different time slot. So that's why this time is the way it is, and you just have to look out at each Thursday and find out what time will Joanne be live, which is awesome. So Terri, tell us, first of all, if you guys are joining us, please tell us who you are, where you're from, and also what you tutor, so we can get to welcome you into the call and be able to do that. So, Terri.
Yes.
We're going to start right from the beginning for you. Okay. What was learning like for you growing up as a kid?
So I am kind of a nerd. I always loved school. I loved everything about school. I like learning every subject there ever was. And I just was like, soak it up. With that said, you know how everybody has standardized tests every year?
Yeah.
So in fifth grade, I took one of those standardized tests, and my math grade came out to be second grade, and I was in fifth grade.
Oh no.
I was mortified, but I remember that day I was having an extremely bad day.
Oh.
And then they made me do standardized tests, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody has their days, but generally I just love school. That was my wonderful, happy time and happy place. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it's awesome. I remember going home and playing school with my friends and that kind of stuff. Did you do that as well?
I never did that because growing up, I always thought I was going to be a doctor. Because I had brain surgery when I was 4 months old.
Wow.
I know, and now everything makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes. That's why you're so brilliant.
Oh yeah, that's me.
They went in there and they're like, "Oh, we got to connect this wire and this wire."
I have to tell you though, it's experimental surgery that they don't do anymore, and so I was like a little miracle baby, and I wasn't supposed to live past 12 years old.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and here I am teaching math now, so.
And oh my gosh, that is so.
So I thought I was going to be a doctor all through school, so I would play doctor when I was home, not teaching.
Oh, that is so. So how did you decide to become a teacher?
So I went off to college, and I was going to be a doctor. And as I went through college, all my science classes, people started sabotaging each other because I was taking all pre-med classes. So you'd go to these labs that would take like a month to do, and someone would sabotage your lab right before it was due. And so you couldn't redo the lab. Oh. And I thought, if it's this cutthroat now, imagine what it's going to be in medical school. Right. And I was young and foolish. And so I said, well, what else could I do? Well, all the time I was in college, I had tutored all my friends and anybody they knew through calculus. And I thought, well, if I can teach calculus here, why don't I just become a teacher? So my junior year, I switched over to teaching, thinking, I don't know. And so then I went and did that. And then I taught a couple years in Oregon and little towns, which was not very fun. And I thought I was going to give up teaching. And my brother was in Germany at the time. And he said, well, you ought to come teach high school over here on US military bases, because they really treat their teachers really well. And I thought, okay, I'm 26. Okay, why don't I just go? Because I like to travel.
Yeah.
And the great thing about being over there was that the schools gave you all these workshops, and all these workshops to train you to become a better teacher were all over Europe. So I was like, I'll go, I'll go, I'll go. And in the meantime, by doing every single seminar they'd let me go to, I really learned to love teaching. And that's where my love of teaching really happened. And I've loved it ever since. And every year I love it more and more and more. I mean, we tutor, but tutoring is really teaching.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I feel like for the first time I'm able to teach now compared to what I did in the classroom.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had like 150 to 200 kids every day.
Yeah.
When I was teaching, and it was like, this is crazy.
Right. So. Right. And it's more like osmosis versus teaching. Mm-hmm. It's like whatever sticks. Right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Putting it out there, and hopefully they're paying attention.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is when you're teaching, you can't, you have to teach like 5 or 6 different ways because everybody has a different learning style. But one-on-one, well, you get to teach just to their style.
Oh my gosh, and doesn't that make it so much easier?
Yeah, and it makes them so much faster at progressing through stuff. So that's great. So that's how I became a teacher, the long story of it.
Oh my gosh. So you've taught in Germany. Have you taught anywhere else?
Actually, I didn't teach in Germany. I taught 2 years on Sicily in Italy. And then that base closed, and then I transferred to northern Spain. And I taught there for 3 years till that base closed because it was during the Reagan time, millions of years ago. And then I ended up back in the heart of Tuscany for the last 3 years.
Wow.
So but the whole time I was there, every weekend I travel somewhere. So, and we got all the vacations we got here in the States. And so I traveled everywhere.
Oh, that's so cool.
Didn't save a dime, but I had fun.
You really got to see Europe then, hey?
I saw all of Europe.
Wow, that is
wonderful.
So cool. All right, that's it. We're going to have to go over to Europe together because I've never been to Europe, want to go to Europe. And then you could just show me all the cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, we got lots of people in the house today that I want to welcome. We've got Ashley. Welcome, Ashley and Rachel. And Rachel says, hello, Terry. She's currently in Rome, but she's from Shelton, Connecticut, and she teaches English. We've got Academic Writing Made Easy. This is Jeannie from New Jersey. Woo-hoo. And Patricia. We saw Patricia earlier today. Hello, Patricia. And it's 8:30 over there for Patricia, but she made it. That's awesome. She's from England. She tutors children from age 5 to 11 who struggle with math, writing, spelling, including dyscalculia, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyspraxia. She's got every dis underneath her name that you could possibly have, but we're not going to diss you, girl. Okay. We've got the IELTS writing coach at Sandy Louise. Awesome. This IELTS thing has been coming up. Like I just mentioned the other day to somebody, like, what is IELTS? They're like, you don't know what IELTS is? I'm like, oh my gosh, we have so many acronyms. Like, no, I don't remember them all.
I don't know what IL is.
But IELTS is Sandy, you're gonna have to tell us more about what IELTS is. I believe it's for ESL students.
Okay.
Something in that field is my thought process. We got Alexa is here in the house. Woo woo. And Ann Mitchell and Simony and awesome. Oh, and great. Sandy Louise is gonna come with us on our tutor trip to Europe.
Nice.
Okay, you know what? The next after this next one, I know that you guys are waiting to hear all about this because I just got back from my very first retreat. You see how the tutor has arrived? Ooh, ooh. I organized my very first retreat with tutors, and we went down to Cape Coral, Florida. And it's next year we're getting an even bigger house that's going to fit 20 people to come and join us for a retreat, and it's going to be absolutely amazing in February. You're going to get to hear more about that, but why not do one to Europe in like 2 years, right? Like
so fun.
We have so many European friends in this community. We should totally do it. So we're going to get out of the States. I'm already going to start visioning it now, going over to Europe and meeting those tutors and bringing my US friends with me on over. We'll get a nice big house and we'll make this thing work. I love it.
I love that you're planning it already.
I think Allie is in already. She said yes. Awesome. All right. Well, we're gonna come back. You guys, I promise you are going to get to hear. I am putting together a fabulous video for you so you can see what was it like when on our retreat. What did it look like? All that great stuff. We're still uploading all of the video because we had so much.
Oh, good. That'll be fun.
So it's a matter of taking all the video and putting it together. That's my project for the weekend. People be like, what'd you do this weekend? I'm like, yeah, I put together that video about our trip. All right. So then you came over to the US.
Yeah, after 7 years, I came back to Oregon and started teaching here. And I taught high school for 20 years altogether. And then I went over to a community college and I taught there for 10 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So how was a community college different from the high school experience?
It's different. Well, one, they're older. You can have any age range. And second, they're usually people that had gaps in their math from before in high school, or it's just been too long. They didn't remember it anymore. And so it was a lot of gap filling. Whereas when you're in high school, you're just leading them on one class to the other.
Right.
But it was the same math. It was the same math I taught in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun too. In a different sort of way. The only thing I didn't like about it too, well, this won't surprise anybody. When I was in high school, when I was teaching high school, I had those kids year after year. So I really got to know them and love them.
Yeah.
And, when you do community college, after 12 weeks, they move on.
Yeah.
Unless they're taking my next math class with me. So I didn't get quite the connection I did with the high school kids.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then is this when you then decided to take some time off because you had some sick family members?
Yeah, I had a brother that was going through cancer and he ended up dying, but I was his caregiver and he was living with my mom. So I was also caregiving my mom. So he died first. And then the next 3 years I caregived my mom. I actually didn't leave teaching. I was just very part-time at the community college. Okay. And as soon as my mom died, the community college said, it's time for you to go. Bye. And I got fired. For not for teaching. They were just like, well, you had to take too much time, which I had to do to take my mom to all her appointments and stuff. Right. So I couldn't do anything about that. Right. And then I decided after my mom passed, then I was like, okay, I'd like to get back into high school teaching. That's where I really wanted to be anyway. Yeah. And I interviewed for like 2 different years over the summer, and no one would hire me because I'm too old, apparently. Back then I was like 55. That was too old because, of course, they have to pay you at the highest rate on their salary schedule. So, and then they also said, which was funny, a lot of people said, well, you don't have the technology background. So I thought, well, I'm not going to stop teaching because nobody wants me, because I know in my whole soul that I know I'm here for teaching. That's my passion. I love building confidence in kids, getting them through this math class where they thought they could never get through. And I wasn't willing to give it up. So I thought, well, how else could I do this if I don't teach? Right. Well, I'll tutor. And then somebody said, well, you should look into online tutoring. I'm like, And that's when I went and found you on YouTube. Oh. And the rest is history. Here I am.
So you found me on YouTube. How did you find the ultimate support group for online tutors on Facebook?
Because I watched your YouTube, that sent me to your website. And on your website, that sent me to the Facebook group.
Oh, great.
So talk about a funnel that worked.
I know. I was just saying, like, well, good. I'm glad my funnel worked because here.
Yeah, it totally worked. Yeah.
Yeah. And then did we start the challenge then pretty soon after you came on in?
Very close. It was only a couple weeks after I came in the group.
Yeah. So we were doing a 5-day Kickstart Your Online Tutoring Business Challenge, and you joined us for that. What was that like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was life-changing. Like I didn't have a job and I'm single. So I had to make this income. If I didn't have income, I wasn't going to survive. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this Kickstart before I ever started. And I said, I'm going to get every single thing done every day she asked me to do, no matter how long it takes, no matter what else I need to do in my life, I'm doing this first. And that's what I did every single day. Yeah. Well, if you asked me to do an intro video on for my website, and I never done a video myself ever in my life, I sat there that day and you know what? I got that baby done. You did. Posted and put up, and I knew it wasn't perfect, but you know what? I did it anyway. I thought I can always come back and fix things.
Yeah.
But if I get it up now, I know I'll have this piece in place.
Yes. And you get over that fear. You get over that fear of not doing it because, oh, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. You just get her done. And then, like you said, you can always redo it, which is awesome. And so what results did you get from that week of being part of the challenge?
So like I got all the big things in place. I got my website up with enough tabs that people, if they landed on it, would find out stuff. Intro video done. I got a blog done. What else did we get done then?
Your frequently asked questions page.
Frequently asked questions page, right? I got my Google business done, my Facebook done. Yep. I mean, and you know, when I walked in before this, I wasn't even on social media. Like I didn't have time for that before. Right. So the only place I was on was Facebook, and that's it, and just for friends. So I learned all the technology and all the social media, and I did it like boom, boom, boom. Like, you know, I asked you like a billion questions, and I was like, okay, I'm going to just keep asking. And I had a little handy notebook, and I'd write down everything you'd say or anyone else would say, and I'd write it down.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was like super pumped and determined to get this up and going because I knew I can learn anything. I know in my heart I can learn anything if I want to. And that's how I went into this, knowing I could learn the technology and all that. And I already knew I could teach and tutor. So that part was okay for me.
Yeah. And so
I'm getting all excited again.
and the school system, which pretty much denied you because you wouldn't be able to learn the technology. I mean, you really showed them with this whole entire process and are probably making more money than you were making there in the school system anyways.
Yeah, I am. You're right. And I remember one of the people that had interviewed me that summer before I started, that next summer, they wanted me to teach summer school. And I said, oh, and they were the ones that said, oh, you'll never learn the technology. So they contacted me and I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing an online tutoring business now. And I just don't have the time. And they're like, oh, it was like, awesome. I guess I love the technology.
Yeah, I guess I could learn the technology. You dubbed me wrong, didn't you?
So it was like this huge learning curve at the beginning. Yeah. Just huge. And everybody, like, you get overwhelmed and stuff because you have so much to do at the beginning.
Yeah.
At some point, you or somebody else said, just get one thing done. And I was like, okay, what do I need to get done first? And then I do that. And then I go back to my list and I do the next thing. And I worked really hard at not getting myself overwhelmed.
Yeah.
That's how I got everything up and going at the beginning.
Yeah. And you had like a system because you joined the Insider Secrets Club. Like as soon as we mentioned that there was this club that you could join, you joined.
Well, at first I thought, do I have the money to join this? And then I thought, well, I would spend the same amount of money taking a class for my teaching career.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I'm in. And that was like the best decision ever because that's where I learned everything you know, and I still continue to learn every single day.
Yeah. You were just on the call earlier today and you learned something new this morning. Isn't it funny how we can all learn something new? Like just keep coming back on in. It was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Huh, that makes my life a lot easier.
And technology changes so much, you kind of have to.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I created this entire community because I was like, holy cow, like there is so much technology, but if we all help each other out and we create this community where we can help each other and, you know, introduce each other to the different technology that's out there, we can choose what's going to work for our businesses. How amazing would that be? You know, it's absolutely amazing. It's so incredible and so much fun. And I love being a part of it. And like every single day, I just think, is it possible to be this happy? Like when I was in the school system,
like love it is.
I kid you not. I remember driving to the schools to the school that was in the inner city one day, and I'm driving down the highway. It was a half-hour ride. And I remember thinking, will I ever be happy again?
Aww.
Like, will I ever know what that feels like? Like, I honestly didn't know if I would ever feel that feeling of happiness again. And today I get to feel it every single day with being a part of this community and tutoring online and teaching and doing what I love. And I'm sure it's very similar for you. Like you're just in pure joy mode.
I love it.
Yeah.
Every day. This just the best time of my day is when I get to tutor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like when you're done tutoring, like when I was done teaching, I felt spent. But when I'm done tutoring, I feel jazzed.
Or you look at your clock during a tutoring session and an hour's gone. You're like, what? How did that happen? It was so much fun. I just love it.
I know. My students say the same exact thing. They're like, wait, that was an hour? And I'm like, yeah, sorry, we got to go because I got to head out with my next student. And they're like, okay, bye.
And that's what happens when you love what you're doing, right?
Yes, yes. All right. So you began taking action right away. You joined the Insider Speakers Club. You started taking action right away. What were some of the things that you started doing to be able to get students? Because you started getting students right out the gate.
Yeah, because I was trying to make an income and I had no income. So I remember the very first thing I ever did was at church. Like, honestly, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with my life to get a paycheck? So at church, when we had prayer requests, I put up a prayer for myself. Like, I was like, I'm starting this new tutoring business and I don't have anybody yet. I don't have any students. And I was crying, which is not my typical, that's like how passionate I was about it. And by the end of that church service, 2 people had signed up. I was like, thank you. There is a God. But I mean, I had to open myself up like that, kind of in a way, open it up to the universe to get those people to come to me, right?
Exactly.
So I had those 2, and that was the very first thing I did. And then next, the second thing I did was put up flyers around places. Mm-hmm. And specifically, like I put them at the schools where I had taught before, because that's what I knew.
Yeah.
And I got 3 students there.
Nice.
Just from PCC, which was the community college I had taught at.
Uh-huh.
So I looked for because I was like spending 24 hours a day thinking, where can I get clients? Like, now I'm willing to experiment. I will try anything. And if it doesn't work, I don't give up. I swear to God, I don't give up. I just think there's got to be another way around it. Like putting flyers up, for instance. Some of the libraries said, nope, they have to be free. And I'm like, okay, there's a no there, but I'm not giving up on libraries. Yeah. And I found 3 other libraries that would let me post flyers.
Yes.
But that's 3 more that I got that if I hadn't gone, I would have never known, right?
Right.
So I had real stick-to-itiveness. So yeah, flyers are next. And then the church thing worked so well, I thought, okay, I'll just tell everyone I ever know. Look, I'm starting this new business because you know what? Your friends want you to succeed.
Yes.
And that's where I got people. So that's where I started anyway.
Yes, that is so awesome. So you really just started getting yourself out there with talking to the people in your church. And so there you go, you guys. We've never mentioned this one, prayer requests at church.
And crying probably didn't hurt, but I was sincere crying.
And you know what? There's that fear of putting ourselves out there. And I think what was happening for you is it was coming out in the form of tears in that moment. Yeah. Like, so scared to let people know. And is this an appropriate place for me to mention it? But if it's deep in your heart, I mean, God wants to be part of your business. So why not include him in that entire process? I asked my prayer group that I meet with every other Sunday. I mentioned just recently that I was doing the retreat, and I said, guys, this is my very first retreat. I've never done one before. Please, I'm excited, anxious. Like excited, nervous, anxious, like every feeling you could possibly have, like I've got it right now. Like, could you please pray for me that things go well? And why not? Like, why not be seeking that support from people so that they can pray for you and they can, prayer works, you guys. It really, really works. So there you go. Everybody's going to pray and everybody's going to talk about it in their prayer groups.
Well, the other thing is those people are your friends at church.
Yeah.
They really love you. So even if you take the prayer away, find people that love you because those will be your best referrers. To this day, I get referrals from people at my church and I haven't mentioned it much. sense.
We were just talking about this on Thursday. What do you do? How do you get referrals if you don't have any students? And that's how you get referrals when you don't have any students. You reach out to the people that are already closest to you, that already know you, that already love you, and they want to be able to support you.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Awesome. So then you started losing some of your students, and tragedy hit. We're not going into what tragedy hit.
I was a sucker. There, I said
it. But you know what? I have been scammed by many people throughout my career, and as a tutor, and I've learned now how to spot them and all of that kind of stuff. So those kinds of things can happen, and that's why we just like put it on out there so that people know what to look out.
Well, and it was such a big scam that I was, as you know, I was considering giving up on tutoring. And I came like the saddest you ever seen me after this happened for a few weeks, because I was like, I don't know, maybe this is a sign I shouldn't be doing this anymore if I'm this stupid. Honestly, I just felt so stupid. And then, you know, I had a long talk with myself. Go ahead and picture that, everybody. And I said, no, I'm going to make this work. I know I can make this work. And that's when I came back. And you saw me get better after that.
I did. And I remember like when you would come and you were like so depressed, like I could see the depression just getting worse and worse with each call you were getting on. And I believe I probably stopped and prayed for you. If I didn't on a call, then I did after the call.
Well, you know what? I made a decision too, even during that depressive time, that I was going to make every call you had.
Yeah. And you
even
did.
If I didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah.
I just came anyway, because I knew I would always learn. And then at one point I made the change to, okay, let's get in gear again. Let's do this again, Terry. And I did.
So what was the turning point for you?
I just thought, you know, even though this was only like 4 or 5 months after I started, I thought, you know what, I'm smart enough. I've already put enough in place, and all the signs except this big, huge, ugly thing were there that this is going to work for me. Like I'm the kind of person that I can sense when things are a good fit because they're easy for me to get done or do. And everything I was doing about tutoring was like, yeah, I can get this done. I got this done. I got this done. And so I wasn't willing to give that up because it felt so right, even though this big scam thing happened.
Right.
So that's what made me come back. I'm like, I'm going to not give this up at this point. I want to keep trying.
Yeah. And I remember at one point, I just looked at you and I said, how many students do you want, Terri? And I don't remember what your answer was.
My answer was 25.
Okay. And so then I made you write that down, didn't I?
Yes. I still guys, every day I write down my card on my big goals in life, and they change, but you know, I still have on here, I have a consistent 25 students.
Yeah.
In present tense.
Yes.
What I wanted was 25.
Yes. And so it was, I have 25 students, and you kept looking at that card, and then what happened?
Well, I also had up the sign 5 actions to get new clients every day, which I still have up.
Mm-hmm.
And so those aren't like making videos or working on your website. It has to be direct things like contacting the school or putting a sign up or getting a sign for your car. It has to be something directly getting it. So I'd read I want 25 students, and I also saw the 5 actions, because if all you want is 25 students and you're not taking any action, you're not going to get anybody, right?
Right, exactly. It would be like praying to God, but then God giving you like this idea of an action you need to take, and you'd be like, nah, I'm not going to. Nah.
I'd like it. I mean, I would like the Mercedes, but I'm not really going to work for it, you know?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden being like, oh man, God really doesn't come through. God could be like,
so it was the 25 students reading that every single day and reading the 5 actions on the other side of my computer. I was like, I'm not going away from this computer till I take those 5 actions every day, at least 5.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened next. I just started planning, how can I get the most students? How can I get 25 students? Which, by the way, seemed impossible back then, because I think I only had like 5 or maybe 4 at that time.
Yeah. Because you had gone down. What were you up to before students started dropping off?
Because I was new, I probably had gotten to like 10.
Yeah, that's what I felt like too.
Yeah, and then it went way down after the big scamola, because I wasn't taking any action either.
Right, the action stopped. Your your mental state was all flustered, right?
To say the least.
And well, I mean, yeah, anybody would have been, and there were just, it was just like a downward slope from there. But then you ended up playing with Thumbtack, which, by the way, you guys, we're not suggesting this as a strategy today. This is part of Terri's story, okay? So Thumbtack is like gone downhill. It doesn't work anymore. They are
exactly.
Okay, but at the time, you had got onto Thumbtack and you got 10 students in 1 week. How did that make you feel?
Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. So the deal was, this is how I kind of view getting clients anyway. It's all a big experiment.
Yeah.
Like I come, I was pre-med, so I always like science. Yeah. Perform an experiment. Does every experiment work? No. Do most experiments not work? Actually, most experiments do not work. But you keep trying and you keep changing things. And that's what I did with my Thumbtack experiment. I did it for 1 week. I promised myself every notification I was going to answer. So I lived with my phone, even at night, even right before I went to bed. If it buzzed, I took action. And through this week, I changed how I would talk to people. I would change my posts. I would change my profile. And all this turned into me getting 10 students in 1 week. It was like, yes, that's another sign. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing if I'm capable of getting 10 students in a week. Yeah. So yeah, I had Thumbtack figured out.
Yeah, you broke records, my friend. Like, I don't know any other tutor who's gotten 10 students in 1 week. That is absolutely incredible. In fact, this is why Terri is going to be doing a webinar on Tuesday next week called Get 5 Students in 30 Days or Less. Okay. So you can see why I didn't say like get 5 students in a week, right? Because I know a lot of you are like, there's no way that could happen. And so I don't want to set you guys up for that. And I want to set you guys up for success, but it's called Get 5 Students in 30 Days. And she's going to be giving us some tips and strategies on how to make that really, really happen. What I'm going to do right now so that you guys, if you haven't signed up for that, is I'm going to get you the link and I'm going to put it into the chat so that you can join us. Let me come on over here. And I'm going to put here, because it's absolutely possible for you guys. You absolutely can do it. I mean, if Terri can get 10 in a week, you can get 5 in 30 days or less. And so we're going to see how many people can really do this, get 5 students in 30 days or less. So I want you to think about what are some of the things today that you do so that you can get students.
Oh, are you asking me that?
Yeah.
Oh, what do I do today? You know what? Last week, I think it was last week, maybe the week before, I put flyers up again because, it's almost the end of the school year and I had tutored myself out of a few jobs and my numbers were going down. And listen, I'm not proud. That's the first thing. I'm not proud. So I put flyers up and I got 2 students in 30 minutes after I put.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you how if you go to the webinar. I couldn't have done that at the beginning when I first started, but I know the trick now.
Yes, guys, it's so pivotal because a lot of people, now I've heard people say this, and this is what they usually will go back to. So if you feel like this is a personal story that you have shared with me, I want you to know that this is a personal story that many people have shared with me. So they put up a flyer with a price on there, and then they think because nobody takes action, that it's probably because they charge too much. And that's why they're not getting students. And I'm going to tell you, it has nothing to do with what you charge. And by the way, don't put what you charge on your flyer. Okay. It's not an appropriate time for you to put that piece on there. Money should not be coming into the conversation until you have the sales conversation. So there is a specific process we need to go through to make the sale. So usually people aren't moving forward because of the copy on our ad, not because of our pricing. Okay, so take the pricing off of there and join us next Tuesday so that you can learn. The link is in there, and you'll be able to save your seat. If you've already saved your seat, you don't have to sign up again. Your seat is saved. I had people telling me at the conference, they're like, yeah, sometimes when you like have these free webinars, I sign up like 3 times. I'm like, I have 3 different email addresses from you. Which is so funny.
So anyway, I got flyer. I got some people not too long ago from the flyers. I also got one person from Craigslist who now I'm tutoring two of their kids. So I mean, talk about paying myself back for that ad. Right? Craigslist I hadn't been getting any hits, and then all of a sudden I got, even if you only get one, well, if you get them and then you get 2 kids like that, perfect. I got some from my website. I got one from one of my videos. And well, just like that, things like that. Once you get more established, as you know, and you get different things up like your website and you start making content, people will find you other ways than the ways we're going to talk about it right at the beginning. But even these ways at the beginning can still produce students like I did. So.
Yeah, and so I'm noticing something here. You're not just trying one strategy to get clients.
No, I never tried just one strategy. Even from the beginning, I tried everything this brain could think of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everything the community gave you was like, yeah, here are all the ideas that you can try. And you went out there and you just like nailed it. And you're like, all right, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. Let's see. And
I changed things. Just me trying one thing. If it didn't work, I didn't give up. Like my first flyers, they sucked. They were the worst. And I didn't get anybody. So then I went back and redid my flyer. Yeah. Posted it, saw if that worked. Okay, that worked. So I'll repeat that. You know, that kind of experiment I've been doing in all the areas that I get students.
Now, some of you are familiar with tech terms. We call that A/B split testing. Okay, like you try one thing and it doesn't work, you take it away, you change one other aspect of it, and then you see if that'll work, and you keep going. Lots of people talk about that A/B split testing when they're talking about like Facebook ads and that kind of stuff. But
I need to tell you, I didn't know that either until just now. I thought I was being really bright and doing it myself.
It is such a great strategy. So instead of blaming the strategy, what I'm hearing, what you did was you just changed up the content to see, does that make a difference? Versus saying, well, it's not that the strategy doesn't work, but maybe I could change something to make it better.
That's right. That is universally true on all the ways I get people. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. That's awesome, because that is a strategy that absolutely works. And you know what? I was in the beginning, when I was going to the libraries, I went to my public library. They said no. And guess what I did?
You went
away. I did. I walked away. I didn't try another library because I'm like, oh, you can't post them at all libraries. Like I made like this universal truth for myself that you couldn't. And then Terri comes into our group and she's like, oh, I just went to like 4 different libraries and one said no. And then the next few said yes. I was like, what? Not fair. Now I did do a speaking event. I could do a free speaking event. And then I had my flyers on a table. So
yeah, there you go.
If you want to try that route, that might work.
Well, can I read you a certain quote that I had that fits this?
Yes.
It says, if you never try, you'll never know. So if you don't try all the different things to make something work, you'll never know if they worked. Guess who that quote was by?
Terri Grigsby.
Joanne Kaminsky. Oh! I was today at the tech call. I was looking through my old original book for something that we had talked about, and I flew past that quote. I'd written it down back early stages, and I thought, yes, that fits perfectly with what we're going to be talking about today.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
You'll never know if it works.
That's right. So now I'm getting quoted. Wow.
You're my hero. What can I say?
All right. So if I want you guys, and let me know if you guys have any questions in here. I'm scrolling through to see if you guys have any questions for Terri, because now is the time to ask those. Shoot it on inside of there. If you have liked what we have talked about so far, here's what I want you to do. You see that little like button? If you can't find it, click out of the chat for a second, because if you're on the phone like I am, you have to click out, and then you're going to hit right here. It is this little button right there. It is the like button. You're going to do that. And then all of a sudden the number's going to jump. It's going to go, all these people like it. Okay. That's called social proof. And you know what? More people are going to watch the video because of social proof, and less people will watch it if like there's only one person who liked it and it happens to be me. You don't want to leave me hanging, do you? Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. All right. So you guys go ahead and click that and we'll get going. Now I have to get back to my chat. So to get back to the chat, how do I do that? Did I get out of my chat? Tap subscribe to add this channel. I'm already on. It's my channel. Live chat. I got it. So then there's a live chat button that you click and bam, you're back into the live chat. And then I can take a look at the questions that you guys have. Here, this is a good question. This is from Patricia.
Okay.
What's the most profitable strategy that you've tried, Terri?
The most profitable. Well, I mean, if we're talking at the beginning, I know this is not popular in our group because I see all the naysayers, but it was flyers at the beginning. Now it's because I have content up and a good website and a funnel that leads to my website. Everything I do now leads to my website in my funnel. So that's how I get everybody. And also
you're now getting people on autopilot.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. And you guys, in 2 weeks, I can't believe this. In 2 weeks, a brand new video series is coming on out where you're going to learn how to turn your business and getting students on autopilot. Who's excited? I want a boom shot. I want a whoop, whoop, whoop. Brand new series I'm putting out there for you guys. And it's going to be followed by the opening of the doors of the Insider Secrets Club.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So more people will be able to join our community and see the unveiling of how I have reorganized our community so that when you come in, you know exactly what to focus on. I have it labeled for you. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And if you follow those steps in order, you have a guaranteed system of success because it's the exact same thing that Terri has followed.
It worked, people. It worked.
All right. So we have another question. Did you give flyers door to door or up in shops?
So here's what I did. Before I went out, and even at the beginning when I didn't know any better, I thought I'm only going to place these where I know specifically there are students and parents that will hire me. So like I wouldn't bother with like laundromats. No, because I know if they go there, first of all, they probably can't afford even what I was doing. I targeted. I knew at libraries, kids go to study and high school kids go there. So any library I tried. I tried schools, anywhere that would let me do a school. I posted them there. I didn't go door to door because even though that could find you people, I was trying to get more targeted than that. Even though it was still guerrilla.
That just feels icky to me. Anybody like door-to-door salesmen? So do I want to be that person who's going door to door?
But on the other hand, if you hit a neighborhood where you know there's people, like maybe people that are more affluent, then it might work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that wouldn't. I didn't try that, but that's a good idea. But you want to think, how can I find the people that can most afford my services and need me?
Yeah.
So if you went to an affluent area where you know there's kids in your target range, I think that would be worth a try.
Yeah, I put mailers in their mailboxes.
Yeah, there's another good idea.
I had my daughter get on out and put it into the little green box underneath the mailbox because it's illegal to put it in the mailbox. But I had them put it in the little green box, but I'm not sure if that's illegal too.
You mean like a newspaper box?
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. So they put it in the newspaper boxes, and I didn't get one student from that. So.
I also did coffee shops. I found a bunch of coffee shops in an area that I thought there would be students. So yeah, you just have to think, where are my people going to be? It's not like you're advertising for a band concert,
right?
Where you would give them to everybody you ever knew. You want to target. That's the main thing.
Exactly, exactly. So think about where your students are. And actually, we just did, so Alexa, I don't know if she's still in the house right now, but Alexa ended up, Alexa and I work together one-on-one. I've been coaching her for a little while now, since I think like January, February. And she's like, well, there's no places for me really in my area to put flyers. I said, Alexa, when you come on the trip with me, I want you to bring flyers with you. We are going to go somewhere at some point in time on the trip, and you're going to put a flyer up. And she's like, okay. She's so good at following directions. I love her. And so we're sitting there. It's the last day. And I'm like, she shows me her flyer. I'm like, oh, shoot, we never went anywhere. But don't worry, the universe had already figured this out for us, because we ended up going to this nature preserve that was also a shell factory, and it had a subway. And all of a sudden, I'm meeting her at the subway. I turn my head and there's a board. And I turn my head and I look at Allie and I said, you still got those flyers? Like, why? I'm like, look over there. And she's like, what? No way. What are the odds of that? And that's so awesome. Ended up putting up a flyer, you guys, and just so that you don't think that I'm totally making up this story and you're like, who is this lady? Here it is. Here is Alexa's flyer. She glitches out a little bit on my phone because I got my green screen on. But then here is the big, board with her flyer on it. So, whether she gets a student or not from it doesn't matter. What it matters was that she was in the mindset of, there aren't places to put them up in my area. And we happen to randomly run into a place with one.
To this day, I still carry my flyers in my car, just in case.
Just in case, because you never know when you're find. That's exactly what I told her. I'm like, just have them on you, just in case. All right. So we had another question from Louise, who wanted to know, how many of your students are online?
Oh, baby, they are all online, 100%. When I started, okay, I'm just going to say this. I know this may not be popular, but when I started, I knew I wanted only online. So at the very beginning, I discounted a little bit so I could get some training and know how to do it all. Mm-hmm. And I've only ever had online. Mm-hmm. And then, what else was I going to say? What was I going to say? I lost it, but they're all online. They're all 100% online. That was just my vision. Like, I had a vision, like, that's not on my card, but it could be, because that was the only thing I was willing to try. Because you get to book more people if you're online than if you have to travel around. Yeah. And I knew I needed more money, so I knew I couldn't do in person.
Right. And so she's curious, do you feel like your methods are more effective or easier to get results for in-person tutoring?
Well, I don't know why these wouldn't work for in-person also.
I think she was thinking maybe you did in person as well as online.
You know what? I only ever did online.
More effective or easier to get results for it. So it would work both ways. Like,
oh yeah, the things I tried at the beginning would work both ways.
Right. Yeah. They would work both ways for in-person tutoring.
I mean, even if someone finds you online, they may want in person. Lots of people.
Oh my gosh, totally. Especially because of the Google My Business. So Google My Business is a local search. And so, like, I come on up, if people put in reading tutor, they find me. That's all they put in, reading tutor or reading tutor near me. And they find me, I come on up, and then I get a call or I get the message, and they say, hey, do you do in-person tutoring? And I say, well, it depends on where you live. So here's where I live. Where are you from? And they tell me. I'm like, well, if it's convenient for you to come on over. The last student that I took in person, because most of mine are all of mine are online except for one. This little girl lives in my subdivision. So the mom's like, do you do in person? Like scared that I'm going to say no. I'm like, you live in the subdivision. You get to make a choice. Whether you come to me at my house or whether you come to me online, I teach exactly the same way. So it's totally up to you. Well, I'm going to be out of town in 2 weeks. I'm going to be in Florida. So I've already talked with the parent and said, hey, your daughter is dying to try the online tutoring. And I don't have anything on my agenda that night when I'm supposed to tutor her. Do you mind if we still have the session? And she's like, that would be great. So we're going to do the online tutoring. Her daughter gets to try it out. So even though I'm not going to be here, I don't have to miss out on working with a client who would have been in person because I'm going to be out of town. Right. Now, if I do want to go on vacation, I can just reschedule all of my students, and I have the power to do that.
The other thing I remember now, what I was going to say was I started also with the intention that I was going to be my own business owner, that I wasn't going to work for a tutoring company. Now, that was pretty brave because I had no income at that point, right? But I knew if I worked hard enough that I could be an independent on and find all my clients myself so I could keep all my money. So I never worked for Wizen or anybody else that took a cut. I did it all myself.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can do it, people. You don't have to work for other people. I know
Right.
it's a good safety net, but was like, I
Is
am
it,
all in, people.
is it a good safety net? Or do you think it's an excuse? Like, I feel like people think it's going to be easier, so let's do it that way because they'll get me my students. And then they find out, no, I still have to drive the students over there so people can see me. So I think they think it's a safety net, but I don't think they know what reality is when it comes to our business. When people are going to all those different sites like Wyzant, you are competing against all the other tutors.
Against thousands of tutors. Unless you have a long history, it's hard to get people.
Right.
I mean,
And
there's
so
people that tutor thousands of hours, and so they get hired first. That's the other thing.
yeah. So why would you want to put yourself where all the other tutors are to lose clients to other people because maybe they do charge less? And you want to talk about competition, that's where it is. You go onto all those sites where people are and it's like a meat market, okay? They'll butcher you down, they'll cut down your prices, they're like and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm only making $10 an hour. What?
But it has to do with your intention. Like you have to decide what do you want? That's your idea. You know, you have to have a business plan. I don't think I had a business plan. I just knew kind of where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I was like willing to do whatever it took to make that path work for me. So yeah.
But you do have a business plan today, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So guys, she's not saying don't start a business, like don't create a business plan. She is
No,
saying,
but when you start, I mean, I didn't even know I needed a business plan when I started. I remember this is only my second school year. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, you are still rather new in this entire field. I was just talking with somebody today and they're like, you've been doing this for a while, haven't you? I'm like, yeah, 9 years. 9 years. I've learned a few things through that 9 years.
I bet I've learned a ton through 2 years. So
so awesome. Well, thanks you guys so much for being here and for hanging out with us. And again, if you haven't signed up yet for Terri's webinar she's going to be doing on Tuesday, definitely sign up for it. It's get 5 students in 30 days or less. And we are going to be there to support you and guide you as you go through this process. It's going to be awesome. Any other last words of wisdom you want to give everybody?
just, you know what, you got to think outside the box. Think outside the box when you want clients. And then you might be the only one that thinks about that way out. Like I remember Patricia in one of our coaching calls this week said, I'm going to try to write a book about math. And I thought, brilliant. I never thought of that before. So I was really encouraging for her. Let's think outside the box, people, and we can get it done.
That's right. That's right. Let's think outside of the box. Come join us on Tuesday. You guys enjoy this fabulous weekend, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.